You are about to listen to Getting Home Sourced with Gianno Buonaguro. This is episode 101, titled Revisiting the Marketplace, which was released July 17th, 2026. Now, enjoy the show.
Welcome to Getting Home Sourced with G, your one-stop shop for all things real estate. Gianno is your go-to guy with over 25 years of experience in the game, serving up the insider scoop on buying, selling, and investing in two of the hottest markets, Las Vegas, Nevada, and Cabo, Mexico. Whether you're looking to score the perfect home, seal the deal on a sale, or dive into the world of international investments, G's got the tips, tricks, and swagger to make it happen. Remember, in Nevada, the smart choice is the right choice. And when it comes to Cabo, you better go oceanside with Cabo G. If you were looking for a quiet, tranquil show about real estate, this ain't it. Gianno has this thing called passion. Let's unleash the beast. This is Welcome to Getting Home Sourced. And now your host, Gianno.
What do you say? Hey, folks, thanks for sticking around for this week's edition of Getting Home Sourced, as I'm your host, Gianno, and I would love to start out by saying, let's say it together, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to where you're listening around the world. Thank you so much. And of course, I always give thanks and praise and welcome everybody. My first-timers, my newbies, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much. And then, of course, who else but the engine that drives the Ferrari, my local community, my loyal listenership, my people. Thank you so much for tuning in again and supporting the show. Because remember, folks, I want to make sure that everybody's out there. Subscribe, share, and like the show. This is what makes us who we are. So I'd really appreciate that for everybody, because I feel as though we have a community show here, a family show, and I want to get that message out and get that word out. That's really what it's all about, because what do? We're actual, factual, practical in the information that we convey out to everybody. So that's important. And if you haven't gone on to my website, vegashomesource.com, you could check out my newsletter, because we have a fresh newsletter that went out just last week. So I want to make sure that everybody's checking that out. And how do you get a hold of me, folks? Well, we got two ways. We got the toll-free G, 888-528-2810. As well, we have the domestic line. Just put the 702 in, same number, and you're ready to roll. And what else do we have? We have our partnership program, a concierge partnership program, folks. This is what I'm going to be sharing and talking about each and every week, because, again, we have the Las Vegas concierge partnership program. We're working with builders. We're working with buyers and sellers and helping out realtors that are struggling, trying to sell their properties. We help them out, and we put them out on the social media and help sell it for them. And then, of course, we have our Cabo edition of Concierge Partnership Program, because we have Cadoon Hotel right off the beach, right down by the Pioneer Plaza, close to all the action, 360 roof deck over there. Fantastic. Like I said, it's probably going to be about $200 a night. And now, of course, with the summertime, it's going to be a little bit cheaper. So you contact me, and then we'll get you set up over there. Really clean, beautiful, new property. I really think that you're going to enjoy that. But also, what else you're going to enjoy? You're going to enjoy massages. You're going to relax. You're going to be on the beach. You're going to just take in the ocean waves while you're just getting that relaxed feeling. Medino massage. You have to get down there and check it out. That is absolutely epic. So I want to make sure that you got that covered. But more importantly, as we talk about, because what is the show about? It's about asset protection. It's about protecting you as a consumer. And what better than, tax benefit partnership program? you have to get your properties in a corporate entity or some type of living trust, family trust, okay? We talk about this all the time. Very important to do that. So we have lived a corporate life here in the U.S. based out of right in my backyard in Las Vegas. We can handle internationals. We handle domestics. And again, it's for all over. So if you're basically based in Florida or New York or New Jersey or overseas and you want to set up a corporation in any state, not just necessarily Nevada, Las Vegas, where I'm at, you could be anywhere. So make sure if you want to get more information about that, you reach out to me because I want to make sure that everybody's taken care of. And of course, again, folks, Christie's International Las Vegas, we just announced that about a month ago that now my office, which was Oceanside, is now Christie's International. So I'm very happy to be a part of the Christie's International family down in Mexico. And of course, we have HomeSmart, right? So HomeSmart is my office up here in Las Vegas, and we are nationwide in the United States. So anybody looking for property anywhere in the country, city, state, what have you, if you're struggling finding a realtor in your area, contact me. We have our database. We're here for you. That's what it's all about. Information exchange, right? You need something, we take care of it. But it's been the last couple of weeks. It's been really interesting times, right? Because we have the World Cup in New York City. We have America 250. And of course, what happened last week, we have our 100th Getting Home Sourced show, because thanks to all of you. So we all give ourselves a round of applause and we all give flowers to each other like we talked about. But we have to get back now to the grind. We have to discuss some data and stats specifically in the Las Vegas market. So this show is entitled Revisiting the Marketplace. I mean, we're revisiting the marketplace. We're revisiting Las Vegas. I want to give numbers to people to show where everything is at over here, because we've kind of been away for a little bit on that and doing the number crunching. So this is a number crunching show for all those that are looking at, okay, I'm thinking about going to Vegas. I'm thinking about investing, relocating, what have you. So we're going to do a deep dive into the Vegas market. Why? Because the Vegas market does not follow the national trends across the country. And you're seeing national averages year over year, month over month. Again, those are misleading, folks. I mean, people like to throw data and stats out there for that. That's not what we're doing here. Over here, I'm taking what the active listings are. I'm taking what basically the sales are, the solds, to show you like, here's what's been happening over the course of the year now that we're at mid-year, just to kind of give you an idea of what's happening now. I'm not going to compare it to last year because last year was totally different from this year. So I don't focus on, wow, last year it was, 10% cheaper or 10% more. It's not about that. It's about what's happening right now, because we discussed that 2026, the big reveal year, everything starts to get rolled out and what have you, and we're going to do a deep dive on that. So, but again, without further ado, talking about deep dive, just recently, the United States government just released a new housing agenda called the 21st Century Road to Housing Act. Okay, so something that was brewing in the background that just came out. So now, guess what? It gets revealed and it gets presented during the summertime. So this passed through the U.S. Senate. So it tells, what do we do? What does it all mean? This is the important thing, because of what does it focus on? Financing. Okay, so what happens right now with the act is that it's structured in multiple parts, but primarily it prevents large institutional and corporate investors or entities from buying up single-family homes to artificially inflate prices. So basically they come in, they buy low, they flip it around. We call it flipping because they raise the price up, they get it higher, they rehab it, they do whatever, turn around and make a profit on it, right? So they're trying to crack down on this because they feel as though with all the corporate buyers coming in and corporate entities purchasing and acquiring in large amounts of homes, it's preventing the first-time home buyer, all the mom and pop investor, to come in and basically get a good deal and buy and actually owner occupy. So it's something to take a look at. I'm going to see how they do a workaround on this, because quite frankly, yeah, you could put it out there, but again, I hate to say it, rules are made to be broken. I'm sure that if this goes into play, how are you going to prevent these large conglomerates to turn around, start setting up small subsidiaries, and then in turn turn around and start buying under a different corporation? Again, corporate asset, right? LLCs, incorporations, what we call Incs, INC. This is the things that we have to be focused on and check out. So that's that section. Now, the other area is zoning and construction grants. So here, they expedite the factory-built and affordable housing construction. Now, the problem here, folks, is that, we all have, you heard the term mixed-use development, okay? So the mixed-use scenario here is where homes are being built next to what? Warehouses, commercial shopping plazas, commercial development, or vice versa, especially here in Las Vegas with new homes. The problem is that with all the infill land that's around, especially in the Southwest area, in centrally located Southwest area, what have you, Henderson area, if you're familiar with the area, it's like a grid. Think of it as a plus sign. So it's the lower box on the left side, plus sign, lower box on the right, plus sign, and then same thing with upper left side and right side. So the whole plus sign has boxes. All those boxes are being checked off. No metaphor, pun intended, but you get what I mean. So what's happening is that new homes acquire the land, then they go and start building, and they have the consumer, the buyer that comes in and says, hey, we're not responsible of what goes on behind us because we don't know. Well, they have an idea, but they put in their contracts vague language that gets them off the hook in the event that there might be potential legal action against them down the road because you signed off understanding that you might have vacant land outside your window today and a warehouse or a shopping plaza or a gas station behind you tomorrow. I really don't like this. I feel as though that's a dangerous situation, especially when you have a gas station behind you. Not really good idea, but this is what's going on right now. So you have to be careful in certain areas that you're in where you're buying, whether it's Las Vegas or Arizona or Texas and what have you. You need to get the information. The builders or the sales agents, even though they're not going to take liability or responsibility, they're probably not going to tell you, and they're going to say, geez, I don't know, they're going to direct you to the, their county or their building planning development or department to find out and see in the future what is the area around them zoned for, and then see what you want to do. But really strategically, folks, if you're ever going to go in and buy a new home in a community, you always go for the middle or for the back. You never want to be on the road, okay, because you have the power lines going through in some instances. But the key strategic area, you don't want to be on the peripheral, on the edges. You want to be in the middle. So worst case scenario, you're in the middle, you're centrally located in that subdivision, and you can avoid what would go on behind you in your backyard over the wall, and that doesn't affect you because you're just going to be surrounded by houses. So just little strategic hint there. That's what I tell my clients every time we go into new homes. You have to get in the middle section there, not right in the main gate of the main entrance, but I'm saying maybe a couple streets behind. You have to look at the grid, look at the map, and pick it out. But that's where you're going to get most value down the road, and that's what you're going to get your worth on down the road, is when you're in the little mini or that mid-area grid of their footprint and what they're building out. So with that being the case, that's a scenario that you have to be careful of, right? So to me, it's not great. So for a resale value, another area, finance and expansion. So here, the mortgage area gets updated programs to purchase using housing investment partnerships and community block grants that come from the government. So they call that acronym CDBG, to build an estimated 5 million homes throughout the country. Wow. So it goes much deeper and it's fully outlined, but this is like a streamlined process, really, actually, for the purchase. So the way it works out is that it's going to go, you purchase the land, then you go to selling, and then through selling, you offer affordable financing rates, right? So the great thing on the horizon is that this pertains to anyone buying across the country. So we're not just, restricted in certain areas throughout the United States. It pertains to everybody. And again, this goes for internationals as well as it goes for domestic. So we're not leaving internationals out here. It includes everybody. You have the financing, you're able to get qualified, you're going to go ahead and you're going to make that purchase acquisition. So that's great. But unfortunately, the thing is that people are still like, but it's still unaffordable, it's unachievable. I don't know, is it a great time to buy a house? And, look, I get it. It's a situation where most people are struggling. We understand it. They're living off their credit cards. We're just going to have to call it like it is, folks. We understand this. It's painful. They're behind. Maybe it's medical bills, credit card bills, mortgage payments, car payments, whether you're financing or whether you're leasing. These are serious things that are going on, and it affects people with credit because here in the United States, we use what's called a FICO score, and you use a FICO score number, which the highest you can get is 900. So a lot of people are like below 6 or in the 6s, and then therefore now it's up to that financial institution to see if they want to finance people. But now here's the creative way of it. People are running around, and now lenders are being creative where, you don't have to show bank statements. It's no loan docs, no verification of income. Just put down 30% or 35%, and even some instances 40%, and then we'll give you like a 6.125% rate. Not bad because you're not having to show anything, but still, it just depends upon the wants and needs. And again, it's a whole strategic play. So you have to talk to your accountant, your financial planner about that to see what's going on. But, of course, revisiting the market, which is the title of the show, you have to watch your housing market to see when and where to strike, right? Because at the end of the day, there are deals out there in every city and state. You just have to know where to find them because even the big cities have deals, okay? You have to get in, find those hidden gems. How do you do it? You talk to attorneys. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, divorce or somebody passes, which we call probate. People own properties of fractional. They want to break up that fractional situation, turn around, they want to sell. You talk to word of mouth, everything's on the street. It's a lot of off-market stuff that you're not going to see. That's why a lot of corporate people, that's why a lot of investors go out there. They're talking to professionals to get the inside scoop and let them do the legwork, and then they turn around, they come in with big pocketbooks and they start writing checks. So most of the times for the quote-unquote deals is either going to be off-market or it's going to be new home. And even in new home, you got to be careful on where you're buying and the areas that they're in. With that being said, I want to take a quick commercial break. And then when we get back, we're going to do number crunching. Stay tuned.
Some person just knocked on my door and then opened it. And the only reason I noticed that they opened it is because my security system said that the front door was open. Welcome to Las Vegas, am I right?
Have you been waiting for your oasis in the desert but don't know where to start? Looking for that second home or relocation home to escape and oversee those majestic mountains with beautiful palm trees blowing in the wind? Then Vegas G is here for you with keys in hand to make sure your luxury getaway is your place to stay. Contact Gianno today at 888-528-2810 and remember your Las Vegas getaway is just a phone call away. Make the call now and come see for yourself what Vegas has to offer you.
Hey, what do you say? What do you say? Thank you for sticking around on the back half of Getting Home Sources. I'm your host, Gianno. And of course, I want to thank everybody because if it's not for you, this show does not go on. We're not driving down the roads. We go through the peak and valleys together, the highs and lows. So thank you so much for sticking around and tuning in. And more importantly, you're sharing the show to everybody because I see the feedback. I see more new faces. I see more new people reaching out, and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It means the world to me. And at least it lets me know that I'm doing a good job for you, and that's really what it's all about. I got to make sure that I'm doing my job for you by bringing you the information, which is what, my three favorite words: actual, factual, practical. Okay, so that's where we're at there. Now, with the beginning really of 2026, I would say, maybe a little bit afterwards, all across the United States, okay? Nowhere except Las Vegas. And we talked about this before, folks, on our show a few months ago. Right here in Las Vegas, new home builders were giving and are still giving the highest incentives across the board. 25% off of base. That was the national average. Now, of course, that might have shifted over a while, but when they came out swinging, this is what they were doing to be aggressive. I mean, we talked about it before. There are custom home builders that were actually sending me emails here, and they never send emails, and they're always keeping their money to themselves. They don't want to pay realtors. They have people walking in off the street, and they're just dealing direct one-on-one with the consumer, cut the realtor out, never showing emails. So when they're sending emails out for custom home builders, semi-custom home builders as well, and now they're getting aggressive with their advertising campaign, it goes to show you that even in new homes, they are building a lot of products, so a lot of areas are sitting. How do we move them, right? The same thing with luxury. How are they moving the luxury product? So we're going to get into that as well. So right now, you still have the time. Summertime is still a hot time to go and buy, folks, because everyone cuts deals during the summer. Now, how long is this going to happen for? Because we talked about before, with the United States, the political climate's going to come up. It's going to start getting that dust cloud build up here soon. So you're going to figure around November, first week in November, after the elections here, what we call the midterms, things are going to change. So we have to be prepared for that. So as a buyer or an investor, mom and pop or what have you, look, you could buy a new home and sit on it and rent it out. They allow you to do that, right? So there's just a cap on what they do. Of course, there's always workarounds, but there's a cap on what they do. So you reach out to me. We'll get you new homes over here because, again, for people that are looking for financing, new homes, one builder in particular, they're giving 4.25%, okay? And then it graduates up from there. Why are they doing that? Why are they giving away such low rates? We hear that the rates right now are between 6 and 6.5%. How are the new home builders offering 4.25 or 4.25%? Well, easy, because builders last year or even years ago, they buy mortgage rate in bulk. So they basically bank their own mortgages. They spend a lot of money. They have their in-house financing. So now they can control and set their own mortgage rate outside of what the national rate would be to get people to come in because it's their own mortgage company. That's why a lot of these builders have their own in-house financing. And because of that, it allows you as a consumer to get a quote-unquote incentive-style deal based upon what they're offering. So, for instance, if you go, again, the national average rate, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, it's a 30-year loan, right? So we call it the 30-year mortgage rate. Over the 55 years since 1971 when they started, tracking the data, the average rate, because there's a very high peak and a low peak, so it averaged out at 7.7%. Folks, we're still at 6.5%. I mean, so we're still below the 55-year average right now. And I think that is an important stat to know because rates have been relatively low except for about a year and a half, 2 years ago when they were at 8.5%. Now they dropped about 2.5%. So people that locked in their loans, folks, you guys got a great deal. You purchased here, you got 10% lesser than what the prices are now, and you got to refinance your rate down, so you're sitting pretty, okay? Now, some builders, or I should say new home builders, in addition to the 4.25%, then it would probably go to 5.25 and 6.25. They do a graduate. You're not going to get locked in at the 4.25 forever. And if they're doing that, then, I will definitely bring that information to you, and then let's get the bus tour lined up, and we're going to go out and check out these home builders. But for right now, they're offering up to 6% closing costs, okay, with the low rates. And guess what else they're doing, folks? They're compensating realtors the right way because we beat up the builders because, folks, I'm going to tell you to you straight. When they're busy and everything is hot and fine and dandy for them, they could give a rat's booty about realtors. They will not pay, okay? But when they're hurting and they're struggling, they want to dangle the carrot. They want realtors like myself to go out there, see how great they are, and steer and kind of guide my clients over to them because they're giving me a good cookie, a nice cookie with milk, okay, as opposed to crumbs and water, okay? So that's the analogy that I put together. So I kind of bash them a little bit, and rightfully so because I like to play games, But you have to make sure, folks, that if you're going into new homes, I don't care what kind of deals they're giving, whether, high, low, or you feel comfortable, you have to use a professional. Wherever you are, please do not go into a new home build by yourself thinking you're going to save money and they're going to give you a deal. You are going to save money with a realtor. You are going to get a deal. There's going to be no additional cost because realtors like myself know the game better than, unfortunately, the quote-unquote savvy consumer. And you might think you know something, and unfortunately you don't, and therefore you think you're going to get a good deal when in essence you could have gotten a better deal. Okay, so that's the difference right there. So with the incentives that they give out, now again, here's the other bait and switch, right, that we have to talk about. New home builders, they like to give their incentives out and package deals out, but that could only apply to what? Their closeout communities, so they may have 3 or 4 homes sitting. They want to close out that community and move on, so they're going to slash deals, prices, incentives to get you to buy those properties. Or they have fallouts where, let's say I bought the property, 123 Plum Street, and then I couldn't qualify anymore. I fell out. I lost all my, deposit money, what have you. Now you swoop in behind me, and then you could take over my house, buy the property at a lower cost, and I might have spent money for upgrades that I lost out on. I can't get that money back, but you can benefit off of my unfortunate situation of not being able to qualify, or I just backed out of the deal, but I lost my money. So those are the opportunities that are going in, and finally the closeout sales, right? So you have situations where between these communities and where the house is positioned, right? In the communities, we talked about it, you don't want to necessarily be exactly next to the gate. You don't want to be on the side wall. So think of a box or a square. You don't want to be in the peripheral, especially on main roadways. It's going to be very noisy, a lot of traffic, probably some power lines. That's not good. And down the road, resale-wise, you're not going to get as much money as you were getting to get if you were in the middle area. And you can also buy their model homes. They will sell you their model homes, and then they will lease back to you. So at least you get some money. So it's kind of like a rental, right? Until they sell out and close out the community. Then they will convert the house over the way it's supposed to be, and then you convey the property after they move their sales offices out of there and what have you. So those are some fun facts with new homes that you could take a look at. You contact me, and I can walk you, especially here in Las Vegas. And if there's other cities, like I said, folks, I will put you in with the right people. So I just say again, don't go over there alone because you're on your own. And again, I know everybody's savvy in some capacity, but this is what I do for a living. There's realtors. This is our profession. This is what we do for a living. We get data. We get stats. We visit the sales offices of all these builders. We get the goodies. We know what's happening. And then we get the VIP, what's behind door number 1 type of situation. So we kind of get a little bit of extra, what I call juice, so we can pass that along. That's what it's all about. So please use an expert. That's all I have to say about that. Now, the secret sauce here is we're going to jump into the luxury homes, because luxury homes here, I think, luxury, again, we all think of luxury as a different kind of denomination, right? Well, like, what's luxury? Luxury is what you feel is luxurious. It could be a big backyard. It could be an oversized home. So you can have like a 5,000 square foot home on a 1/4 acre lot, or, what have you. It all depends, because I always say beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, right? So with that being said, just to throw out there, because, a lot of people like to take pre-COVID numbers and apply that and push it forward to what happens today. Well, in this case, when I saw a study that came out by saying that from 2019 in the luxury market, which I would say would be between $1 million USD and higher, they said that those property values have doubled. Well, duh. I mean, you'd have to think that it would be doubled, because back then you're getting good deals, and a lot of people were putting out at one point for a year was 2.75% interest. Never going to see that again. That was like an anomaly. I thought that 3% back in the dot-com era was going to be fantastic in 2000. And then here you go during COVID, and COVID knocked the rates down so low. Why would people want to sell at this stage of the game unless they're making tremendous money they could take that capital gain, roll it over, pay no tax, and now they can upgrade and upsize their property. So that's why the luxury market, and God bless, they did great. They were smart. They strategically placed themselves the way they were supposed to, right? So now that's just the luxury single family homes we call, SFH, single family homes, okay, domiciles. So with condos and townhouses, now that's a tale of two different type of sales, right? Because with condos and townhouses, a lot of people have been getting beat up. The HOAs have been increasing pretty drastically. That's putting people in an upside down situation, especially if you are using that as an investment property. So right now with the homeowners association, so here in the U.S., not sure about where else overseas and over the pond, as we call it, on both sides, how you have a community board that would charge you a fee to live in the community that you live in. So here in Las Vegas, a lot to do with the townhouses and condos. So half of the sales have been lesser from what the list price was, but then the other half have been over what the list price was. So kind of like, I guess, the area that they're in, whether it's high rise, whether it's community area, what have you, that's what it is. It's either they got a great deal and it came in underneath the price, or it went over and they overpaid for it for whatever reason that they have. Great. They got a great deal, right? But the thing is that the market itself, in some areas, sales are down 4.5%. And that's this year. I'm not talking about last year, the same from January. Okay, so now I want to take a look at the resale prices, because now we start getting into the resale version. We talked about new homes. Now let's dig deep into the resale single family residence, because now this is going from active markets, and we're going to talk about sales. So right now here in Las Vegas, 7,575, which I thought was kind of interesting, 75 active homes on the market. And then we're talking about Las Vegas now, okay? 12,000 homes have sold since January of this year. So what does that equal to? Just over 1,700 homes a month. Condos, 1,600 active properties on the market, with 1,300 sold from January of this year. So that places it at 185 solds per month average. Townhouses, 1,205 active listings, okay, with 1,660 sold since January. So that equals 237 homes average sold per month. So when you look at the single family homes, 11,000 of those homes were below $1 million sold. Okay, so now when you go above $1 million, now not so much. I mean, you don't really have too much selling over there. But I will say that the highest sold so far for the 2026 was a $17 million home, and that one was basically over in the southwest side of town, which we call the Summit. Okay, so the goal here is that you could see that up to $1 million is where all the activity is, because the national or median price point here is going to be about between $90,000 US dollars to $500,000 US dollars. So just keep that in mind. So when you go up and down, again, and everything fluctuates based upon the area and the communities that you're in, because you just can't take an average of luxury homes and lower homes, bunch them together, and then here's your average number. That's what they do here, but you really can't go according to that. So it's kind of a little bit tricky. Now, with high rises, because this is an area of the market where it's a little bit dicey, again, depending upon where you want to be in. So we'll get into that. Now, high rises, 620 active, where 285 had sold, which basically breaks down to 41 homes a month, okay? And then you have 11.8 million sold property penthouse high-rise at the Waldorf Astoria in Las Vegas Boulevard. That is always going to be the most expensive high-rise building in Las Vegas until the Four Seasons opens up. Now, the Four Seasons is out in Henderson on rock bed, overlooking the Strip. It's beautiful. I've taken clients up there to look around. They probably have another year to go before it gets completed and what have you, but That's for people that are relocating, second homes, and a few primary residents, but primarily it's going to be secondary and retirees and just kind of running around up there, lifestyle living type of situation. So you have that coverage. So condos, I mean, high rises, it's like, again, it's a condo, but the high rise area right now here is very hit or miss. I mean, there's some buildings that are great to be in, and there's some buildings that are not great to be in, and it's all because of the HOA. So again, you use a professional, see where the HOAs are, how solvent are they, what's the building condition, are we having water pipes break, are roofs leaking in units above you, below you, are people jackhammering, fixing things? I mean, these are things that, obviously life events that you have to take a look at. So something, again, we can talk about in more detail offline. You contact me and we'll get that handled. Now, multifamily. Now, multifamily here is pretty decent. I mean, it comprises of a duplex, which is a 2-unit, triplex 3-unit, fourplex 4-unit, and then you can go up. You can do a 6-plex, 8-plex, 10-plex, what have you. Out of those, 145 are active on the market between $250,000 to 1.5 million USD. The highest sold was a 1.2 million fourplex, which is downtown Las Vegas. So that usually shows me that that's going to be like around the law offices down there, down by the courthouse area, maybe down by the casinos and what have you. So everything is walkable down there. But a $1.2 million fourplex, that's pretty, whoever sold that, hey, God bless you. That's a great deal. So just to give you an idea for that. And then lastly, land or hectare. So right now we have 2,240 pieces, where 520 pieces have sold. That's about 74 a month. The highest price, again, in Summit, in the southwest area of town, was 2 acres for 18 million US dollars, or 22.24 per hectare. Okay. That to me is quite expensive, but that's what they're demanding over there. Again, it's custom home lots. They're going in there and you're buying a lot. You're not even building a house on it. You're just paying for the lot and then turn around and then you put a house up there. So usually custom home lots and custom, or land pieces that you could build a custom home on usually go for $1.5 million and up, because again, you're getting that ownership. You're getting to deal with your builder, because your builder's going to charge you probably anywhere from $400 to $600 a foot based upon your square footage. So that number is going to go up. But especially in these high guard-gated communities, the Summit, for instance, Summerlin, or McDonald Highlands and Henderson, you're going to see expensive lot sales. And folks, most lots would be even a quarter acre or a half an acre, but at least over here they got a 2 full acre type of deal. So that was pretty good. At least if you're going to spend that kind of money, get a 2 full acre piece is what they did. So at the end of the day, that's real estate sales. Okay, this is every type of market. This is revisiting the market, especially for Las Vegas. I mean, again, people, if you think it's unaffordable, I understand it, but I always keep in mind, hey, people were still buying when it was 8.5%. And it was 10% cheaper. I get it, because obviously you can see in that 2-year time, 1.5 year time, it's gone up. But you have to believe and you have to put a strategic plan together to understand which direction do you want to go, who you believing, okay, who are you trusting, who are you believing, what do you want to do? Do you think the market's going to crash? You keep hearing about market crashes and rates are going to come down and all these different type of things. And quite honestly, we talked about it. Not going to happen. Okay, at least not for the rest of this year. 2027, different ball game. We know there's a lot of underlying effects that are taking place, but for the most part, you're just going to see this on cruise control. Nobody's going to make any drastic changes, because when you have the elections coming up, as we call the midterms, and we're already in July, so you have August, September, October, November. So roughly 3.5 months to go. Nothing's going to happen until after the fact, so you have to reset for 2027, right? So again, whatever you hear out there, always when in doubt, you have questions or whatever, you have to give Vegas G a shout. It's important. Let's get you the answers. We have you covered, but I can't help you guys if you're not reaching out. If you have it handled, great. If you know what's going on, great. But if you don't ask, then if you want to go it on your own, I totally respect that, understand that. I'm just basically saying that I'm here for you. We're 24/7. You have my virtual assistant, Miss G, and I thank everybody for using her. She's great. She can answer all your questions, or at least most of them, right? And then the other questions, again, like you do, you email to me, and we're going to get them on the air, or we talk off air, whatever is easiest for you. So before I sign off, folks, because that's the show, great news, I will be in Los Cabos, Mexico next week. We'll be doing a show on the beach live because I can't wait to get back down there. We have special things to celebrate. I have a buyer that became a dear friend of mine, and we're going to be getting a brand new condo basically in Pedregal, Tower 1. Awesome. So I can't wait to give her the keys. It's going to be a phenomenal show. So if you're in the Cabo area between July 21st and July 31st, contact me. You know, again, this is what happens, folks. You have a listener, we start talking, all of a sudden we meet up, we go down, we start looking around, you develop what we talked about the last couple of months. Relationships, it's building connections, it's feeling good about what you're doing, feel good about who you're trusting, and you know, basically putting your financial life in somebody else's hands, and you're getting protected. And this person got a killer deal. I'm so excited for her. So we're going to be closing the deal when I get down there, get the keys, move in. She's going to celebrate. It's great. And this is what I'm saying. We find deals. This is what I'm talking about. Right place, right time. Cabo G now. We're going to switch the call letters. So if we're Vegas G today, Cabo G next week. We're going to be boots on the ground. Please, if you're around, contact me. Come to my Christie's International office. We'll meet. We're in the heart of the Pioneer Plaza. We're in the heart of downtown. That's the business center, folks, for those that know. Let's sit down. Just talk. Tell me what you're looking for. We'll make it happen. So on that note, I want to say take care. God bless. And we'll be talking to you from the sandy beaches of Mexico next week.
You have just listened to Getting Home Sourced with your radio host, Gianno Buonaguro. This podcast is a registered trademark and may not be reproduced without the express written consent of VegasHomeSource.com. For additional information about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, call or text Gianno toll-free at 888-528-2810 or visit his website at VegasHomeSource.com. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.